All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, the elder bishop, the great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word in truth and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all I say Shalom. My name is Ahyash, and I'm back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahawashi. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to do a response to the brother out in California who just had that run-in with that Jake, and we all know the story by now, but they had that run-in with the Jake, and who ended up stabbing the brother up. And through the will of Yahawah, living to tell a story, living to have the testimony, of that story, and allowing us brothers to hear it, meditate on it, and take from it, what we need, and as his testimony and the title of his lesson says, let this be a wake-up call to us all. I know the elder brother from Cali, the elder Mawatazak, he did his lesson with this title, and the other elder from California, Barak Allah, he also did his lesson. And I just wanted to give my spiritual 2 cents, and just speak on it from my perspective, which is aligned with the brothers and the elders. I will say that this was very, very eye-opening for me, and not only for me, but I'm sure for other brothers, man. Being out here in this world, out here in New York City in particular, I do a lot of traveling throughout the city, a lot of public transportation, on the buses, on the trains, moving around, and I'm in the midst of a lot of people, for the most part while I'm traveling, and making sure we are on point and circumspect is extremely important. Okay, and that's one of the main sort of that's like the main lesson that's coming out of this, from brothers that are doing lessons and just giving their perspective, is to remain circumspect. All right, which is extremely important, man. There's a lot of demonic forces out here, in this world. There's a lot of demons, man, and people are out here with the worst intent. Okay, there's a lot of people dealing with, there's a lot of homelessness, there's a lot of drug addiction, there's a lot of just bug outs, man, and I come across them very, very often, which is why this is very eye-opening for me, because this brother's testimony is very personal to me, being that I'm in the midst a lot, and it's crazy because I was listening to the brother's video earlier today on my way to work. I was on public transportation, I was sitting down, and I just noticed, it just made me aware of just at this point, like I'm on edge, like, you know what I mean? Made me aware of everybody's movements that's around me. Like, you sit next to me and I'm like on you, you know what I mean? So but that's what it's meant to do, and I accept that, because there's a lot of times, in our daily routines where we're just moving about, and you kind of take for granted your space, what's around you. There's times when you take it for granted. For the most part, I'm usually on point, but I gotta remind myself to be even that much more circumspect, you know, because that's what it's going to call for. Keeping our eyes open, staying circumspect, and just watching what's around us, you know. Let me just pull that up real quick, just for the sake of, because I mentioned this is Ephesians 5 and verse 15, and it says, "See ye then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." All right, so, you know, walk circumspectly, you know, keep your eyes on the circumference and the things that surround you, you know, spiritually and physically, man, because, you know, we got to keep a spiritual eye on the things that we consume, the things that, you know, just in terms of like measuring the times, right, that we're in, and this is a part of it. You know, that brother being attacked, that's a result of making sure we're measuring the time, to understanding that things are going to be a lot more intense. Things are going to be heightened. The intensity, the evil spirits, okay, the attacks on the prophets, you know, the persecution of the prophets. These things are going to heighten, and they're going to happen more often, you know. So we have to walk circumspectly and making sure that we are on point, you know. And to Wadi Yahawashi for being with that brother, man, and getting them through. I've been praying for the brother, man, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that the brother got through it. The Lord was with him. If you listen to his testimony, you know that the Lord was with him. The Lord had to be with him in order for him to get through that, you know. And you know, this is a lesson for the body, man, for all of us. You know, wake up call. All right. And the Lord never promised this. He never promised us that this would be easy. He actually promised us the opposite. Okay. Scripture say, "Will now come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, for trials, for tribulation, you know, for anguish, for grief in the spirit." You know, we're gonna have to go through some shit, man. You know. But we accept this challenge. We accept what comes along with serving the Lord, and we give our life, we give our body, we give our life to serving the Lord. This is what it comes with. If we have to give our lives for it, then so be it. We just pray to be a part of the elect. We pray that the Lord is with us no matter what. You know, there will be martyrs. There will be brothers who will die in His faith. That's a part of it. Okay, but when we say die, we have a different understanding. Okay. You can take this body, but you can't kill our spirit. Yahawashi conquered death for us, and we're looking towards the kingdom of heaven. We're looking towards everlasting life. You know, that's what came about with Yahawashi and Him sacrificing Himself for the elect. Everlasting life was made possible. You know, and that's what we're looking forward to. That's the goal. Our mind is set on the end of this man's world, the end of these type of attacks, spiritually, physically, the end of this flesh. You know. Salaki, I gotta pause real quick. Salaki, I'm actually at work doing this lesson and I was interrupted. But yeah, man, you know, the Lord never promised us that this would be easy. You know, this is a path that we are willing to take, and we take what comes along with it. You know, so let me get this. All right, this is the book of Acts chapter 14 and verse 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay, continue being exhorted to continue in the faith, and understanding, right, that we have to count the cost, because it's only through much tribulation, right, will we enter into the kingdom of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Right, acceptable men, right, who have been through that fire, and the acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? We're only accepted by Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi through our adversity, through our trials, through our sacrifice. Okay, we present our bodies as a living sacrifice, just like Yahawashi did. Okay, obviously on a different level, but you know, we have to be partakers of Yahawashi's suffering, and this is a part of it. So the understanding is there. Okay, and we thank Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi for the understanding, for the covering, for watching over this brother, for watching over other brothers who, who will be attacked spiritually and physically, But it's only through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. We're not going to coast our way into the chariots. We're not going to coast our way into the kingdom. We're going to be tried, and that's just a part of it, man. That's just a part of it. We're going to be tried. And again, we take this on. We take it on because that's just a part of it, And we take it on willingly, man. Nobody wants to get stabbed up or, whatever the case have to, but, that ain't up to us, okay? The Lord chose us as vessels, called us at this point as vessels to do his work and to suffer these things, and we accept, right? 1 Peter 4:13 says, but rejoice inasmuch as you are partakers of Yahawashi's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. So yeah, while we suffering here now, through the sufferings, through the tribulation, yeah, we're looking forward to receiving that glory when Yahawashi gets revealed, when he comes and delivers his elect. It's all said and done, and the elect gets beamed up into the chariots, man. That glory that comes along with that, hey man, that's what we're fighting for. So that's an easy thing for us, man. Us hopeful members of the elect, we take that on because we know the reward that's coming for the elect that endures and suffers through this. Okay, we present our bodies as living sacrifice. You could have this, Esau. You could have this. You could have this body. Okay, but you can't kill the spirit of the elect. All right, you can't kill any spirit. But the elect is going to have the last laugh. Okay, starting with Yahawashi, you're gonna have the last laugh, man. All right. We're praying for the absolute destruction of this man's kingdom. You're not gonna be able to deceive the elect. You're not gonna be able to break the elect, okay, from serving Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. This ain't gonna work. All right. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little shook up by hearing this brother's testimony, but hey, we in the flesh, and that's a part of it. All right, we ain't tripping on you, Esau. And when I watched the brother's whole testimony to the very end, and then saw the picture at the end, I was like, yeah, this is, we came to the elders and the brothers came to the conclusion that this is Esau, man. We see it, right, through the Spirit. The Spirit allows men to discern these type of things. Your day is coming, devil. Romans 8:35 says, who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword, right? Nothing shall separate us from the love of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Nothing. Not any tribulation that we go through, no persecution, no throwing mud on our names, okay? Nothing that we go through in this flesh, nothing will separate us from the love of Yahweh Shah. We gonna continue to do this work, Lord willing. No matter what happens, no matter what you try to throw towards us and try to get us off our square, it's not gonna work. All right. The verse 36 says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. All right. And we understand that. All right. We understand that there's a sacrifice necessary for us, man. There's a sacrifice that's required. And we understand and we get it. So while this testimony is heavy in the spirit, right? All it's really going to do is boost brother's faith, because the Lord delivered that brother out of a situation, man. And that brother was bleeding. He was, listening to his testimony, the Lord kept that brother under control. Kept his wits about him. He was bleeding, but he held it down. He was able to call 911. The Lord had that, the dude that was working with him, he had the right dude with him, right, that was able to help him until the ambulance came. And that's a testimony, man, for brothers. That's a testimony that Yahweh Shah was with that brother. All right. So none of this is gonna take us away from Yahweh Shah, man. All right. It ain't gonna work, Esau. All right. So we understand that we are counted as sheep for the slaughter. We get it, right? And this is something that, this brother's testimony. This is something that, we just have to continue to meditate on and just keep in the front of our minds as we go out in the highways and the byways and as we go through our walk, right? You just gotta keep it, understand that what we're dealing with, the times that we're in, the times that we're coming up upon. Make sure we stay on point. This is Psalms 18 and verse 46. And it reads, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai liveth, and blessed be my rock, and let the power of my salvation be exalted. It is the Most High that avengeth me, and subdueth the people under me. Right? He delivereth me from mine enemies. Okay, and the Lord delivered that brother from the enemy. All right, he delivereth me from mine enemies. Yeah, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. All right, and through the Spirit, we know Esau sent that man, who represents the violent man. Okay, and Jake be taking on that violent spirit, as you can see. All right. Verse 48 says, he delivereth me from mine enemies. All right. Yeah, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. And the Lord lift that brother up and hath delivered him from the violent man. Therefore I will give thanks unto thee, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. Okay. And 2/3 of you niggas are heathens, man. You're among the heathen. We're among the heathen, and we're among the heathen because we live here in Babylon. There's nothing but heathenistic, evil, demonic, wicked activity going on. But you 2/3 niggas, man, ain't the Lord gonna do something bad to you. All right. And like I said, listening to that brother's testimony, I ain't gonna lie, man. I became slightly emotional, and I was a bit shook up. Okay, especially when the brother was making mention of examining ourselves. All right, because look, man, we gonna be our own worst critic. So when we come to examining ourselves and we're thinking about our walk and thinking about the things that happen to us, we gonna be our own worst critic. We're like, damn, why did I do that? Or let me stop doing this. Or you know what I mean? Let me get, we always gonna be our worst critic, because we aim to please the Lord. But, we don't want the Lord, to forsake us and cast us out. Those demons will be in your ear trying to get you to go off, or trying to get you to not be as diligent, or to forsake this calling, right? And what's scary about it is that ultimately, man, we don't have any control of whether or not we are part of the Lord's elect, man. That's not in our control. All right. And Yahawashi used that brother to send a message to all of us. All right. To be on point, to be circumspect. All right. To stay diligent. Don't get complacent. Don't get puffed up or prideful. Right. That was a message from Yahawashi to the brothers, man, to the body. And all I can say is, look, message received. All right, message received. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 2, and verse 12. It says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And that's what I mean when I say that I was a little shooken up about it. You know, because the scriptures say work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You know what I mean? Because that's a part of it. You know, we got to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. We got to work out our salvation understanding that, you know, having a healthy measure of fear of Yahawashi, you know, through this walk, that's healthy for us, right? Because it keeps us balanced, man. It keeps us on point. Keeps us on point. All right. And I also want to make mention of, let's see, all right, because that was a 2/3 nigga who attacked that brother, man. All right, that was a 2/3 nigga, right? And the Lord gonna do something to him and his family. That was an evil, vicious, wicked attack. All right. 2 Peter 2 and 12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Now, whether you are 2/3 nigga that's out here doing stuff like that, or you speaking up against the prophets, or you are evil, because you got people who know that, men who know they're Israelites, and even women who know they're Israelites, but they're beasts, man. They don't understand this truth. They don't understand what they're a part of. Okay, then you got the wicked 2/3 that are in this world. They're all considered natural brute beasts, man. Okay, and it says, and they shall receive the reward of unrighteousness. And that dude who attacked that brother, he gonna receive the reward of unrighteousness. The Lord gonna do something bad to that dude, man. Okay, and they shall receive the reward of unrighteousness as they count it pleasure to riot in the same day. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. All right. It says, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have circumcised with covetous practices, cursed children. All right. And again, they're going to receive the reward of unrighteousness, man. Verse 15, for which have forsaken the right way and are going astray. That's 2/3 of our people. They've forsaken the right way and gone astray, and are able to be corrupted by Esau to do an evil, wicked act like this. Okay. Which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. All right, and we got no remorse for you niggas, man. We got no remorse for 2/3 of you jakes, man. Let me end it with this. 2 Ezra 9 and verse 22. It says, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant. For with great labor have I made it perfect. Okay, so we gonna let the multitude perish, man. Let 2/3 of our people perish. Let all the heathen and the wicked perish, man. They were born in vain. You have no purpose. Okay. And may death and destruction fall upon anyone who's coming against the men of the Lord, the prophets, this truth. May death and destruction fall upon all of the wicked, man. All right, so with that, I'm gonna leave it there. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.